Hey, I'm Black Dragon, and welcome to another edition of Black Dragon Biker TV. And as always, I'd like to thank you all for tuning in from wherever it is in the world that you happen to be. So today I wanted to take a few minutes to talk to you about, I often talk to you guys about the young guys and the trouble that they cause in the club and, their lack of respect. And, we talk about the young guys not really respecting the OGs and that sort of thing. And some of that is just a natural progression of what goes on between the younger and the older generations. But I did want to talk about some things that the older generation needs to recognize about the younger generation. Because a lot of times they come in the club and we want to give them a whole lot of hell and not necessarily the respect that they deserve. And you got to always go back to remembering and thinking about when you were a young G, as it were, and you were coming into the MC. And so I wanted to just take just a few moments to give you some tips about what the OGs should be thinking about when addressing the young Gs. So tip number one, everybody deserves respect. These are grown men in your motorcycle club. They aren't children. So when you talk to grown men like children, you should expect the reaction that a grown man gets when a grown man feels like he's not being taken seriously and he's not being respected. So a lot of times you can talk in an off-mannered kind of way where you've forgotten how to talk to people, and it can erupt. It can explode. You can find yourself picking your old ass up off the ground. Because you may have forgotten you're talking to a grown man. Thing number two is the kids of today have more information, more resources, more data, more technology, and a quicker response to assimilating information than we ever did at their age. We don't have we didn't have in our day the gadgets, the phones. You got a cell phone in your hand, more sophisticated than the cell phone used to land the lunar lander on Mars. So this cell phone computer system that they carry, man, it's a phone. It's the only thing it doesn't do is beam you up. Like it does everything the Star Trek. The Star Trek thing, I forget what it was called. It does everything that communicator / tricorder did, except beam you up to the next planet. So they have communication systems, and so when you think about when you were their age, maybe you were as smart, or maybe even smarter, or maybe you were more of a go-getter, but you didn't have as many things at your fingertips as they have at their fingertips. So whereas you might say, well, how the hell do you think you know that? You haven't been anywhere. Though they might have just dialed it in and looked it up, and here it is, and now they know it. So don't discount the generational blessings, the generational benefits that have come from them being born in this generation versus you were born in that generation. So thing number three is, so they may be a tad bit smarter, or maybe even a hell of a lot smarter than we were at that age, as they've been assimilating information quicker. Like kids are learning, it was you went to school in the fifth grade, or at 5 years old. When I was a kid, you went to kindergarten. Now they're sending these kids to school at 3 years old. So they may be a little bit further advanced than you were. So maybe you should be listening. Because thing number four is they have this data that they've assimilated. They're able to put that data together and come up with conclusions quicker than we could at our time. So these are smarter kids, and they didn't do as much manual labor as we did, but they absolutely have done as much work, and it's paid off faster. So they may be more brilliant than we think that we were at that age. So sometimes you want to discount these kids. these young guys. You want to discount them like they don't know anything, and they may know more than you, especially in areas that they specialize in. And they specialize a lot quicker. We were generalists, and these kids have come up and they're specialized. So they're going to know things like maybe they know logistics better than you know logistics, or communication better than you know. If you can barely operate your cell phone, and this guy's trying to tell you, in today's motorcycle clubs or in today's world, we communicate this way, and we're bouncing off servers, and we store things in the cloud, and we're using this for technology, and we can talk on our phones, we can send messages because there's end-to-end encryption, and you don't even understand what the hell they're talking about. No, we don't use the internet. Well, the kids of today, they use social media. They communicate back and forth. They're not sending smoke signals and drum beats and carrier pigeons with notes tied to them. They're not deciphering with a piece of paper and a string and a sliding invisible ink. They're not doing that anymore. And so if that's how we used to get down, we have to understand that they get down a little bit differently. So thing number 5 I want you to think about is these kids today will vote with their feet. Meaning that in my day, I came from San Diego, California. The motorcycle club set there. And in San Diego, California, there were maybe seven clubs when I came through. Clubs were close. They were friendly. They knew each other. So if you were having trouble in your club here and you wanted to go join another club, you didn't have a whole bunch of clubs talking about, hey, yeah, man, come over here and join us. We got a home for you. A lot of times they would tell you something like, this is what you need to do. You need to go back to your club, to your family, and get it figured out. Because we were all such close friends, we didn't really necessarily snatch from club to club. There were only 7 of them. So if you didn't get along well in one club, enough of the clubs knew about you. Maybe they didn't even talk with you. But nowadays, there's 100. I'd be curious to know how many clubs on our set there are in San Diego now. I would say probably 100. When the difference was it was 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 back in my day, there might be 100 or 200 or 300 clubs in San Diego now. So these kids that you want to talk crazy to can vote with their feet. They can just get up and leave and go someplace else and be with people that respect them, treat them with common sense, talk to them like they're grown men, and don't discount them on everything they're trying to do. So a lot of times, OGs, you need to take a little bit of time to think about these 5 things when you're thinking about how you're addressing grown men, how you're talking to them, how you're treating them, how you're taking the information that they come with, the information on the ground. These guys are, another thing is, they're on the ground. They're on the ground. They're getting their resources and the intel, and they're hanging out with the doers and shakers and movers that you might not be getting out to. You're certainly not hanging out till 2 o'clock every morning or 3 o'clock every morning like you used to when you first came in the bike set, like these kids are doing now. So this is their time. They're blazing paths. You got to also remember thing number 7. You have to remember that these kids are just as passionate about the MC as you are, as you were during your time. They love it just as much as you loved it. They're laying down now the stories that are going to be told during the 20 years from now. They'll be the OGs, and you'll be the historic G. You'll be the G of antiquity. As these guys, it's hard to believe, will be the OGs, the guys running the club, the guys doing everything. So number 9, just because you have dedicated your all to the club, and you have given your life, your time, your money, you've fought the battles, you've faced off the criminal clubs, dominant clubs, or various other organizations. Maybe you had to fight with the cowboy goat roper cats over there to get your club up, or the whatever situation you had to do over here, and you had to face the coalition, and you did all that stuff, and you brought the club in, and you faced bandits and highway robbers and You were the High Plains drifter of your day. These are the High Plains drifters of their day. Today is the day for them. And although they might not have had it like you had it, you had to do those other things to build the club. They're going to have to do those other things to carry the club, to keep the club moving, to keep the club successful. This is their time, and you have to recognize that their sacrifices mean something. If not to you, their sacrifices mean something to them. So when you come in and talking about you don't know SHIT, you ain't been nowhere, I got more time backing up to the curb than you got going forward. When you start talking to these kids like that and discounting what they're contributing, that's a lot of times that's when we get this negative reaction like, what the hell is this guy talking about? What is he on? Another thing is, and this is 9, the Janet Jackson song, What Have You Done For Me Lately? It's real. Your contribution, maybe your major contribution, was way back then. And so now there's contributions that need to be done now. So if you aren't contributing like you were, I mean, you how long do you want to rest on your laurels? How long are we supposed to be how long are we supposed to be bowing down to you? How long are we supposed to be oh so happy and oh so great that you get to be for the rest of your life held up on a pedestal? And for to some extent they'll do that, but you should also, when you're dealing with the youngsters, is remember, hey, this guy may be contributing more now. These group of guys may be contributing more now. I might only get out once a month. These guys are getting out and representing the club every single solitary day. And finally, in order to have a brotherhood, this is number 10, in order to have a brotherhood, you must have growth. When you stop growing, you start dying. So if you're running all these guys off, if you look around and you're running prospect after prospect off or new member after new member off, they're voting with their feet. You can be so glad and sit on your perch and you're doing so great, King. But what carries the MC on? What takes it to the next level? What carries it beyond your time with the gavel? Bro, if you love the MC, do you really want it to die with you? Or do you want to train up the next generation, teach them, guide them, let them make their mistakes, give them an opportunity to shine? I know it's very tough to move off the chair, to step aside when the teacher becomes the student, especially, or rather when the student becomes the teacher, especially when the teacher still feels like, hey, I got it, I'm not ready to drop yet. So it's two sides, and you often hear me talk about the older guy's side because I'm the older guy. But the older guy has to look at the younger guy's side too. And together we come up with what's great for the mighty MC Nation. Anyway, just some food for thought. I'm Black Dragon. Welcome to the Dragon's Lair. Please make sure to check out my brothers on SnapTech TV. SnapTech TV are some more brothers of the Black Sabbath Nation that have an incredible YouTube channel going on, SnapTech TV. And also the Traveling Brother Cigars. That's another club brothers of mine that have Traveling Brother Cigars. That's a wonderful YouTube channel if you like cigars and that sort of thing. If you find value in this video, please like, share, subscribe, and follow it on Facebook and YouTube. And also go to Black Dragon Biker TV on Instagram. Check us out. My podcast is called The Dragon's Lair Motorcycle Podcast. Please get over there and follow us and like us and share us over there as well. You are welcome to come to the Dragon's Lair. That's here. We have our bike nights. I think they're going to be Sunday here in Atlanta, Georgia. So if you're interested in coming and hanging out at the Dragon's Lair, I'm Black Dragon at blacksabbathmc.com, or hit me up at 404-692-0336, and we'll give you directions on how to get here and come hang out with us here in Atlanta. I'm Black Dragon. Like, share, follow, and subscribe. Thanks for tuning in, and get skinny.